of State for Health Promotion, Marcella Corcoran Kennedy, TD, today launched Healthy Foods for Life, the new healthy eating guidelines and food pyramid under the aegis of Healthy Ireland. Blah, blah, blah. Now, that's a very laudable aspiration, but the key messages are limit high-fat, sugar and salt foods from the top shelf of the pyramid to no more than once or twice a week. Eat more fruit and vegetables, up to 7 servings a day. This is now the largest shelf of the pyramid. Use the pyramid as a guide for serving sizes. Portion size matters for counting calories. We'll come to that. Guidance for losing weight and for individuals who are not physically active. In addition, the guidelines now include daily meal plans for children and adults, as well as a range of information sheets on different parts of the food pyramid. Now, what's on the shelf? 1. Vegetables, salad and fruit, at least 5 to 7 servings a day. Base your meals on these and enjoy a variety of colours. More is better. Limit fruit juice to unsweetened once a day. What's wrong with this? First of all, there is no evidence of benefit of 5 to 7 servings a day of fruit and vegetables on any health parameter. Randomised controlled trials have failed to show it. It hasn't been shown in the huge WHI Health Initiative, which came out in 2006. The problem with more is better is that for insulin-resistant people, a lot of fruit is fattening. I can speak from personal experience on that. Shelf 2, whole meal cereals and grains, potatoes, pasta and rice, 3 to 5 servings a day, up to 7 for teenage boys and men. Wholemeal and whole grain cereals are best. Enjoy at each meal. What's the problem with this? There is very little, although there is some advantage to wholemeal cereals versus refined cereals. I can speak from personal experience of eating nothing but whole grain cereals for the best part of 30 years and being fat and constantly starving. Similarly, for people who are insulin resistant, which encompasses probably the majority of people who are overweight, and certainly the vast majority of people in the country who have metabolic syndrome, eating potatoes, pasta and rice is a form of slow suicide. There has been no randomized controlled trial proven benefit of wholemeal cereals, etc., etc. It's all bunkum. Shelf number 3, milk, yogurt and cheese, 3 servings a day and 5 from the age of 9 to 18. Choose reduced fat or low fat varieties. Low fat milk and yogurt more often than cheese. Enjoy cheese in small amounts. What's wrong with this? Everything is wrong with this. Firstly, it has been shown in intervention trials that children who drink whole milk are thinner than people who drink skim milk. Is this a surprise? No, it was always known by farmers. If they wanted to fatten animals, they fed them skim milk. Secondly, they're missing a lot on important fat-soluble vitamins by doing this. Thirdly, low-fat yogurt is disgusting and it is not satiating. And fourthly, cheese should be enjoyed in pretty large amounts. There's strong, consistent evidence that there are fats in cheese which are protective against both heart disease and metabolic syndrome. Of course, the people who write these guidelines don't make it their business to read all the literature as nutrition nuts like myself do. For shelf 4, meat, poultry, fish, eggs, beans and nuts, 2 servings a day. Choose lean meat, incorrect, poultry without skin, incorrect, and fish. Firstly, there's nutrition in the skin of poultry, and it's very similar in composition to olive oil. Lean meat is not anything like as satisfying as fatty meat, and there's only a certain amount of protein that you can stomach. Beyond that, you have to make up the rest of your calorie requirement from carbohydrate and fats. The Americans are now eating 55% carbohydrate, whereas before they got fat, they were eating 40% and were eating correspondingly more fat, and they were all thin, and now they're all fat, and we're advised to follow what they're doing. Limit processed salty meals such as sausages, bacon and ham. Maybe, but this business of salt is grossly blown out of the water. In fact, it has been shown that there is a nice area where salt is healthy, and if you go below this, for many people, it makes their prognosis worse. For instance, in heart failure, there's fairly recent stuff on this, and the Canadians have reviewed it. And for most people, a restriction on salt is not necessary. If they have hypertension, it's worth trying, but it may not cure the hypertension. 5. Shelf life: fats, spreads, and oils in very small amounts. Use as little as possible. Use mono or polyunsaturated reduced fat or light spreads. This is exactly the wrong advice, and it's dangerous. It also says recommend rapeseed, olive oil, canola. I think they're probably okay. Sunflower or corn oils are not okay, and I'll tell you why. They are very heavy in linoleic acid, and linoleic acid is an omega-6 saturated fatty or polyunsaturated fatty acid, and if you eat too much of this and not enough of omega-3, that makes you prone to heart disease, etc. This other business that you should reduce your fat because it will make you fat is just not true. I fry things in butter, I fry them in ghee, I fry them in coconut oil, sometimes fry in olive oil. I am reluctant to fry in any of these other synthetic new oils, vegetable oils like sunflower and corn oil, which didn't exist 100 years ago and have never been eaten by humans. Humans have eaten some rapeseed oil. Canola oil is a kind of a modern version of this, with the reduction of a particular acid which can make them go rancid. And the 6th shelf, foods and drinks high in fat, sugar and salt. Now, fat is not the problem in processed food, but fat, sugar and salt is a combination which we overeat. Therefore, foods which contain all three, in my opinion, should not be eaten at all, except in very exceptional circumstances. That's the end of this so far.